We are back. So, yeah. You don't have your train with you, JP? We don't have your train? I'm good. Why is Bolt saying it's lovely and silent when JP can't talk? People can't hear you? Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, no, they can't. I'm looking at my thing and they can't. So
Ah, might want to let us
That's
hear you
fine.
too, please.
It should be
Oh,
fine
I'm
now.
not even there.
Wait, no, you are
Oh, they
there.
can do that. Okay. In the meantime, you might also want to switch on Microsoft Developer.
Look at you. See, I'm so distracted today because I'm literally hours
you're on
from
holiday mode.
vacation. Yeah, I can't even
Maybe-
keep my brain straight.
Maybe we should ban people that go on holiday. They should be banned from managing the stream.
Yeah, probably because yeah, I'm a little fuzzy today, to say the least.
Yeah.
Anyway, should
Who
we start
isn't?
over? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy time zone. How are you this morning, Christos?
I will cut the first 3 seconds or 3 minutes of our quiet miming. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not going on holiday, so I'm not in holiday mood. Although it's going to be freaking roasting in Seattle
I
and
heard.
Washington this next few days. So I might take a half a day today and just go for a swim with the kids.
It'll be fun. We're going to the beach, and it's going to be 80 degrees at the beach.
You're gonna be like a lobster. Do you go in the water? Are you a water person or are you
Oh yeah,
one of the people? Oh, okay,
I like
you
to
are. Okay.
I like to get in the pool, and I like to get in the ocean. So, and
Man.
my last summer, my youngest, who was
Mm-hmm.
what 1.5, he would run full steam towards the beach and plow into the waves, and they'd of course knock him over, and then he'd get up and do it again. And we're all like, "Oh my god, this kid's not going to survive this beach trip." But
I still do that,
Yeah.
and I'm 43.
so
Although, yeah,
no, I'm not.
the
I'm not
beaches here is not
hungover.
as nice. You're
I'm not hungover, Bolt. Thank you very much. A little bit of
Why
credit,
would you be
please.
hungover?
Yeah, why would I be hungover? It's Friday. It's not even. Granted,
On Saturday morning.
I have to be honest. I spent most of my freshman and
Morning.
sophomore years of college pickled, and I think I got it all out of my system because I have no interest in drinking a whole lot anymore. So I don't much,
Do you
which is
drink?
good.
Beer,
Not-
wine, stuff?
Not really. I'm a cheap date. It doesn't take much anymore.
On a cheap date.
2 beers in, and I'm done.
Yeah, same here.
So,
Very
that's why we
social.
can't-
Just,
That's why we can't do like a Friday afternoon with a drink show because I'd be hammered in 30 minutes. So I did go to work drunk once, and or not drunk, hungover once, and it
You-
was awful.
you
I
wrote the
can't
best code
describe
ever.
No. I didn't even touch any code. It was just enough for me to like get a cup of coffee and sit at my desk for 5 hours before and then had to get out of there. It was bad.
It was very common back in the UK. I don't know how it is over here, but I remember going to work and having half the team being hungover because there was a game or some weird celebration, or the sun had come out and people were out doing barbecue, whatever.
When the sun
Yeah,
came out, so
Scotland
we
was
were
weird
hammered.
like that. Hey, the sun only comes out a few days a year, so you might as well make the best of it. Holla to my Scottish friends. I'm just messing with you. So,
Let's see. Bolt says my ex-director told me to get drunk during work days because at least you're getting paid to be hungover.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And we have Smart
Spring.
Spring. Yeah, liquid lunches are a no now in London. Oh,
Oh,
why?
really?
Why?
I don't
Is it
know, man.
because pubs and COVID? Trying to.
It seems
wrap
like
my head
yeah,
around it.
yeah, that's true. Because if you went out with your buddies at lunch and you had a couple beers, okay. But what are you gonna do? Sit at home on a Teams call, drinking alone in your basement?
That's a good
your-
point. Although,
with your
who
friends?
was it yesterday? I think it was John Papa. Yesterday, he was watching the event, the launch, and he was like, "I have the best food, sitting in my sofa watching the event. It means get the best conference food ever." going back to real conferences, I mean, we're gonna have the city food that every conference offers. So, you know,
We had,
it's a trade-off.
I remember there's a picture and it said, despite their best efforts, Tim and Jack were never at their most productive in the afternoons. And that shows these two guys at lunch with these like 3-foot tall wine glasses. Like, yeah.
So when I was working for Data Explorers, which was a company in Edinburgh, every Friday the whole team would go out for lunch. And it was like a 3-hour lunch. So we take time off work and just go for lunch. But the manager was also there, so everybody was missing from the office, but everybody was having lunch at the same time. I mean, our manager was an ex-developer in the team, which was promoted to manager, and he didn't want to be a manager. Therefore, he was one of us, and we would just be there. 20 people book a pub and have lunch every Friday. That was the best team bonding exercise. Nobody actually would say no because everybody was there. Would you be the odd one not coming?
So my first like real job, the guy who was the director was a Marine, like in the reserves or something. So he was, really clean cut and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of the guys on our team were his Marine buddies. And I remember one guy was funny. He's this huge, huge dude. I mean, just looks like he would just, he could pick you up and rip you in half. But he drove a Toyota Echo, which is like this really tiny little car. So he'd get out of this thing, and it was like this guy he's a 6'5" guy getting out of a clown car, But it was like December 23rd, and our boss had left for the day, and we thought, well, let's go to lunch. So we all went to lunch, and we all had a few beers at lunch. And as we're on the way back, we get a text from one of the other guys. He's like, "Oh my God, our boss is back," and he'd come back to the office. So we all ran back to the office, and I remember we're all standing there, and he's looking at us, and all of us are like barely able to stand up, And that was But it seems, especially since I got older, that drinking with coworkers almost never ends well, especially if you don't know them very well. So,
yes. Yeah. It takes time to build the bond,
I mean, like, if you and I were to sit down and have a beer, I think that'd be fine. But, like, when we go out with our entire team, I don't know. It might be a little... things might get a little weird.
You mean here? Now?
Yeah. Like, if we took all of our M1s, or our M2's team, if we took all of us out, I would not want to be drunk with those people.
Oh, no. No, I never got how people were comfortable enough to get hammered while out at work. You had I had the CEO once get totally plastered at a Christmas party. And I'm like, dude, you lose respect for people when it happens because they start doing stupid things. I'm like, yeah, do it in the comfort of your own friends and family, but not in front of your colleagues, right? Anyway, that's my perspective.
I have a story I'll have to share with you over a beer sometime.
Once we get plastered, yeah.
The place I used to work, I ended up a place I did not want to be with those people, and I learned a lot about them that day, and there was a lot of stuff I didn't want to learn. So, I was never in the Navy. In fact, I've never been in the military. I don't think they would want me, but I did work with a guy who was in the Navy. He was a nuclear submarine, nuclear manager or something. He was like, yeah. He's like, I had a chair, and I'd sit in the chair, and I'd look at the oven all day long and make sure the oven wasn't going to get too hot. He's a funny guy, but he sells Teams Voice now. So if you need Teams Voice, you need voice in Teams, give me a call. I know a guy. But so you mentioned the Windows event. How did you like that?
Yeah,
yesterday?
Let's talk about it, man. It's Windows 11. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Eventually, it will trickle down through the Insiders program. So if you want to get your hands early on it, get on the Insiders program. But I got super excited. Some of the things that are coming back are coming back. I said they got transparency, which is like very Aero-esque kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Extremely graduated. Congrats, my friends.
Oh, congrats. Well done. That's awesome. Golf
now
clap.
what? Master's degree or whatever. What are you doing? What's next? Getting a job? Let us know. Let us know what your plans are.
Yeah. Bill O'Brien, Windows 8 for life. Wow. Hey, no judgment. No judgment.
Hey, you do you, my friend. I'm still with Millennium. I'm still with Millennium over here. It's serving me well. How long did Millennium were out there? Like 6 months?
Millennium?
Remember?
God,
yeah,
what
it
is
was like,
Millennium?
yeah, it was like between 2000 and XP, right?
It was like a Franken NT and 90.
Yes.
Like NT and 98, like weird. I don't know. I remember we didn't have Millennium because I couldn't afford it because I was a kid. So we had 95 and 98, and then we just skipped to 2000. Which,
Yes.
Windows 2000, you can still download a new enough Firefox to browse the modern web with Windows 2000. IE doesn't work because of TLS. So I guess because they didn't support TLS more than TLS 1. IE and stuff doesn't work, which also I heard yesterday, IE will now be thoroughly killed in Windows 11. So
I have a theory about IE, my friends, and stick with me. IE had to be kept because a lot of our internal apps would not run on modern browsers.
oh yeah. I mean, that was IE6, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
you would try to open something in Edge. It was like, no, browser not supported. You have to open it in IE to get your I don't know your domain settings fixed. It's like what? What is this? And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I thoroughly believe that certain things were only kept like IE to allow
Yeah.
Microsoft employees to do things. So,
So there's a place I worked a long time ago, and they
Uh-huh.
had and the tool that we used for our project management stuff used an ActiveX control, and so it eventually ended up being IE6 on Citrix, and that was how everybody had to use it because they wanted to get off of IE so badly for workstations. So
people are saying that a lot of systems are still rely on IE and older operating
yeah.
systems, and yeah, I mean, I know that there are huge companies that pay an insane amount of money to Microsoft to keep XP and other systems going, only because they cannot rewrite their their systems. So
there is
hopefully
a,
they will get off that. Yeah.
there is an IE mode in the new Edge, which, so far as I can tell, is basically the Trident rendering, like the old IE rendering engine plunked in. And so certain apps that require IE, if you're on Windows, will open in Edge, like Edge, new
Uh-huh.
Edge, like a Chromium-based Edge, but they will use the IE rendering engine, and so they'll still work. So you have one browser, and that's Edge. So, yeah.
Yeah, military, banks, large public sector organizations. I think the NHS in the UK was still running on IE for certain things.
And
It's-
32-bit Excel, apparently.
Yes, yes, obviously. Who needs more than
Silverlight.
64,000 records?
Silverlight, way to go, Rocket Man! Now we're really going back. I
Oh, come on!
remember
Why did you have to go there? Now you're just poking the bear.
there was one thing on Silverlight. There's somebody
Mm-hmm.
made this control, and it was like the deep zoom, some sort of deep zoom. It'd basically take like a super resolution image, and it would chop it up into lots of small pieces, so you could zoom in. You could see it from like a really far back, and then it would zoom all the way in. And somebody took that and made it work with data sets. So you had this really awesome pivot viewer for viewing like huge data sets, and it was super cool. And I've yet to find anything that works as well as that did. So just saying.
So there's a good question from Retro 0955. I can't remember how to pronounce that. I think it's Retro. Why are they still using ancient tech? No security threats? Well, my friends, I think most of these companies have a lot of very complex systems that they cannot upgrade, or they can't afford to upgrade, or they don't know how to upgrade. So for them, it's easier to pay extortionate money to keep the systems around rather than rewrite them.
Well, a lot of
it's
times
crazy.
too, like vendor software, and the vendor doesn't exist anymore. That's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think, like, does JD Edwards even exist? Or are they like they're somewhere deep in the bowels of Oracle now? But
Yeah.
a lot of vendors, they just disappear, right? They can't make any more money, so they're gone. And unless you're going to reverse engineer the whole thing and figure it out, you're kind of stuck. So
Phil Snapple says COBOL from 1980s. They're still using it in his company. Do you guys have a mainframe?
Oh, maybe you can help me parse some ICSs then. There's probably a
He's
COBOL
from around
library.
the same era, right? Yeah, they're from around the
they're
same
both.
era.
Good afternoon, TRP 8472. Rocket Man.
That's
Moses says-
Trooper, dude. It's Trooper.
Oh, Trooper. Sorry.
Yeah. See, I know how to pronounce that because he told us. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So, and then Rocket Man says most of them think they're safe inside their perimeter, and a lot of places still do. That's definitely like a super common thing. I think when I came to Microsoft, I was surprised at how the network was here because, I mean, like my office is in Charlotte, like because I live in Charlotte. There's no like CorpNet access really. You have an internet connection, and that's it. Like that's what we have at work, and you know, it's just you VPN in, or there's direct access. I don't think it's called direct access anymore, but essentially, if you need corp resources, you VPN in because it's all everything's all at the edge now anyway. But
Oh, it's targeting Windows, says Fuel Snubble. Do you want latest technology for ticket printing?
quite small, just 6 million lines of code.
Yeah, man. I mean, can you imagine trying to compile code through punch cards? Screwing up one of the punch cards. I don't know.
mean-
These people back then really possess skills. These days we just write code and rewrite code, and the ID helps us
It's
not being
commitment.
stupid.
I mean, if we worked at the same pace in terms of code defects, if our code defects, if they'd done the same rate in the COBOL days or in the punch card days, we'd be stuck. I mean, we would still be compiling one piece of code that we started writing 18 years ago because,
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
Red refactor on punch cards. That would be fun. TDD. You go and do TDD on punch cards. Otherwise, you can't be hired.
yeah, we're gonna do a blue-green deployment on cards. Yeah, Rocket Man, one bad card in your deck, and a week later you find out it didn't compile. That's right.
Exactly. That was like commitment. Oh man. Elliot Brand is talking about Maui authentication. Thanks, Elliot.
Oh.
I still need to chase down the team. I haven't had a chance to catch up with them, and it's summer. But I know that there are a couple of open issues on GitHub about Maui and Azure AD and B2C. I need to sync up with the team and see where we are with that. I spoke to David Ortono briefly, and he said he was going to follow up with me. So I'm pretty sure it's on the radar. We need to have it done before we go GA in November. So stick with us. I don't know how quickly you need that, but we're working on it.
Maui, and I think I ask you this every time, but for whatever reason, it never seems to stick. Maui is Xamarin Forms, right?
Yeah, it's multi-application UI framework. UI, yeah.
Fuel
Xamarin,
says,
the new Xamarin Forms. Let's go with that.
New Xamarin Forms, an evolution of Xamarin Forms.
Yes.
Fuel says they're working on migrating to a SPA with a web client. their SPA takes 100 times more memory than the old COBOL app that it's replacing. It's very true.
I worked once for a contract where we were replacing an old Access system. What is me and Access? I don't know, man. With tons of VBA script and all
Found
that.
your niche.
I did find my niche. I need to put it on my LinkedIn. We were
Oh, I'm gonna
replacing
go
that
endorse
with
you
an
for that.
Angular.NET app. And
Yeah.
that was the third time that the company was trying to iterate and replace that old system. It's
How
it's
did
hard.
you like Angular?
Hey, by the way, that was the very old Angular. It was like 1.x back in 2015. So it was okay. We were also playing with TypeScript at that time, which was also limited. So we had a lot of issues with making TypeScript and Angular and everything else working. But it was a learning experience.
Yeah.
I don't think I would choose it now, to be honest.
Well, I asked because the Teams app that all of us know and know and love today, that Teams app was mostly Angular JS, like Angular 1 or whatever, and of course Electron. And they announced yesterday that they're going to be moving to React Native in total, and they're going to use embedded WebView as opposed to using Electron. So they said in some cases it's like 50% faster, which for Teams. I'll take anything we can get. Like, it's just so slow that anything that makes it better will be appreciate it.
Oh, we have a couple of really good comments this morning. One of them is, oh, actually, three comments. Vue is much more developer friendly. I would say yes. I hate JS. Please don't. It's what is out there. It's not the hero that we deserve, but it's the hero that we got. So you have to work with JS whether you like it or not. I don't think there's a better, actually, I don't think there's ever been a better alternative to JS. Nobody has managed to develop that in 20 years that JS has been around. So
Blazor.
you have to. I'm okay with Blazor, but as with everything else, like it has to compile into something else, and sometimes I feel uneasy when I don't know what the final artifact will look and feel. Okay.
I do like TypeScript. Like that's what Retro is saying. Like I like TypeScript.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
mind JavaScript with TypeScript. Like if I'm still given a choice, I'll probably still use C#. But
Yes.
for front end stuff, I actually haven't. And I'm certainly not like a React pro by any stretch. But I don't mind React, and I don't mind React with TypeScript. Like
I like Vue.
I can be productive there, which is all I really care about. So.
But that's probably because you worked most with React, right? Like most of the stuff that you've done with front end is React.
Yeah, which hasn't been a ton anyway, because I never really did a whole lot of front end. I was like, oh man, somebody needs to build UI for this. Like, oh man, I'm so busy, I got other shit to do, I can't do it today. Somebody else work on this front end?
I am super happy with ASP.NET. Either Razor Pages or MVC and a little bit of JavaScript to make it UI friendly and user friendly. But that's my opinion. It still runs fast. You still have the server components they can work with. I don't see why everything has to run on the client side, but that is my opinion.
Because
even web forms can still do some amazing stuff. Sorry.
It's distributed compute. This way, instead of you having to buy compute, you're just using all of your customers' compute instead. You're using their machines to execute a bunch of code and just calling your APIs. I mean, I actually still used jQuery the other day.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it is.
It works. I mean,
It works.
To be honest, I don't really care. And for what I needed was something super simple and lightweight. Actually, it was our little rotator thing that tells you what events are coming up. But that's all jQuery.
Listen, TypeScript is the tool to use when you do JavaScript, because I find it a lot more, a lot more object-oriented friendly. Not so much functional, but it's definitely a lot more object-oriented friendly. So if you come from a .NET background, it makes my life a lot easier when I can have these same paradigms. Although I have to say that JavaScript has evolved quite a bit. So ECMA 6 now that we are?
Yeah.
Has added a lot of like classes and things that were not there with ECMA 5. Statically typed. Yes. What did Bolt say?
Bolt only writes minified JS files. He doesn't use the regular ones.
You know what, Bolt? With your skills, I'm not doubtful one bit.
I mean,
Good to
look.
see you, my friend.
Now, also, Bolt is a wizard in custom policies, and so I think once you've accomplished that status, I mean, you can really parse any format in your brain once you've figured out how to do that. So.
Phil Snubble says, I like Blazor server, but I would like an MVU loop rather than MVVM for some things. Yeah. Model
talk
view.
about,
What is model view U? What is U? Model view update?
Model view update? Yeah, it must be what it is. I don't know. I've never heard of MVU.
Yeah. Enlighten us, Phil Snubble. We're old and scrappy. Model view update. Interesting. Like ELM.
Model view update.
Have you ever used that framework or that pattern?
I've never used that. Well, I don't know, to be honest. I'm thinking, I mean, we've got our model, we've got our view. What is the update?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a new one for me.
Phil Snubble says there's a thing called Comet, one of the Xamarin PMs when it created Comet, which is almost like a competitor to Xamarin Forms. It's always fun when you do that.
What, build a competitor to Xamarin Forms?
Yeah, from within. It's not somebody else. It's not like what's the other company that does a lot of stuff with Xamarin. What's the framework that it's a third-party component? Can't remember what it is.
Telerik?
No, it's not Telerik. It's another company that
Uno?
does Uno. Yes.
Yeah.
So like Uno. Uno at least is a separate company. Although I don't know why we haven't acquired them to make Xamarin even better. But
I mean, I did start working on a. I started working on a B2C competitor because I got very frustrated, and I started working on one.
Well, you know
Kind of
what?
as-
I'll put my vote behind that.
Kind of as like almost like a tech demo to say like, hey, it could be like this.
Yes,
But,
with,
you know.
with ARM support and fully embedded
Yes.
into Azure, you know, we can have our own startup within Microsoft. How about that?
Yeah,
Join us.
We should do that.
and we can rule the world.
We should on the show. We should build an end-to-end B2C competitor, and we'll take a whole year and we'll do it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
every Tuesday morning, we're going to go and plunk a couple hours into a B2C competitor,
Microsoft
and
Labs.
425 Labs.
The 45 Labs.
I better go buy that domain before somebody else does.
The 45 Garage.
Well, but Garage is already taken.
But it's the 45 Garage.
That's true.
Oh, no. Oh, Bald, why? YAML instead of XML. I think
Stop.
that almost puts you in line for a ban for a day.
Well, bear in mind, this is also the guy who writes minified JS files from scratch.
Yeah, okay, so your opinion doesn't matter. True.
Bolt's like, oh, let me see. So let's see. So F parenthesis E, you know, bolt underscore IO. I mean, that even feels far too verbose. So
You can understand policies. Oh, I love QR codes. I like it. Okay, you're back. You're staying. Browsers should just support C#. Yeah, how are you gonna run C#, man? You need to have some way to execute C# in the browser.
So sadly, there is no .labs TLD yet. I wonder if there's a lab. 425.lab. Nope, that one doesn't exist yet either. So so 425 labs. I kind of like 425 labs. I think that's a good one.
And while you're trying to find the labs, Phil Snubble said there are several F-Sharp MVU libraries. You know, we haven't touched F-Sharp at all on our stream, JP. There are
Nope.
so many things that we can do with F-Sharp and React Native. We're talking about that before.
I got just
What
the
other
guy
language
we need
would you like
call.
to see?
We should get the guy who does Farmer on.
Yes. Oh, what's his name?
I can't remember his
I
name.
follow him on Twitter. He's.
I can see his face, but I cannot remember his name.
Exactly. I can see his complaints. I can feel his anger.
All right, let's switch to some news really quickly. Windows 11 is the news, at least for me. So,
Yes.
so okay. Now I did see yesterday there's TPM requirements. Everybody's freaking out about it.
I lost you. TPM 1.2. Oh, sorry. TPM 2.0 requirement.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, so TPM 2 has been a requirement for Windows certification for like 5 years. Mm-hmm. So if you've got a PC that's less than 5 years old, then you should have. That's a good point, Bolt. We need to go scoop that one up before somebody else does. If you've bought a PC off the shelf, Dell, HP, whoever, right? If you've bought that, or if you have a PC that's less than 5 years old, then you should have TPM2 right now, because you had to in order for the OEM to get it Windows certified. If you bought from a small company or from like a niche provider or something, maybe they don't have one, but it could be disabled in your BIOS. That's one thing. Secure boot could be turned off. Both of those things are required. The third one would be if you have like a DIY board, you know, like you built your own PC or whatever. What I've seen is most of the gaming type boards, enthusiast boards, have TPM headers. So you just have to go buy like a $20 TPM. Like there's no chip, there's just a header. But the chip is like a $15 or $20 thing. And you just plunk it in there. And I mean, the thing is, like, this TPM thing has been going on for over a decade, trying to get OEMs to move to it. And then with the hardware certification requiring it, that I think all the OEMs are doing it now, with the exception of the really small ones. But for whatever reason, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the gaming enthusiast boards, they just don't seem to do it much. And I don't know why. But at any rate, if you have a gaming board, check to see if you have a TPM header. Some of them have virtual TPMs too. Intel and AMD both have virtual TPM tech, and you may just be a matter of flipping it on in the BIOS. There's some other things though. I noticed the processor list seemed a little short. Like it was like Intel 8th Gen and up, which my machine that I use every day is Intel 8th Gen. So I was really surprised at that one. Now they've also said there's a floor. So there's a set of floor requirements, which is like more than 2 cores and like 4 gigs of memory and 64 gigs of storage. And that's like the absolute hard bare minimum. And then if you have anything else in that, it's just going to advise you maybe you shouldn't do this, right? So I don't think it's I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Not to mention it won't be out till this fall anyway, and so
True, and also they said that the next build, I think the next update, will also be backwards compatible with 1.2, which is a good point that Caparino is bringing up. So the first release, the official release, will only be 2.0, but I think the subsequent release will be backwards compatible to 1.2. It's weird.
So yeah, so it'll go out next week. There's an insider build next week, and they also said that if you are getting insider builds, even if you don't meet hardware requirements, you'll still go ahead and get the insider builds, but whatever the requirements are at release, you may not be able to upgrade past that one. So, I don't know. But I'm pretty excited about it. I like it. So
Okay, tell me why you are excited. What is the feature that got you most excited about?
I like the whole like subsystem for Android thing. That's pretty cool. So being able to just run Android apps, I think it'll make development a whole lot easier.
So Windows subsystem for Android, which is insane, right? We have Windows subsystem for Linux and now Windows subsystem for Android. I wonder if you can actually call into it directly like WSL. Like if you will be able to spin it up and do stuff, or is it going to be transparent just for you to run the apps?
That's what they said yesterday. Was they're calling it Windows subsystem for Android, and they're almost treating it as sort of an extra thing. So I think I'll be really curious to see whenever that becomes available. I'll be really curious to see what that looks like, because to be honest, I don't even have like specific Android apps I specifically would want to run. But I think for like doing dev and stuff, if you could create if you have a virtual environment and you've got, debugging turned on so you can, run it without having to run an emulator, like a full device emulator, I think that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Imagine how fast development will be there. Writing native apps and running them natively on the WSA. Oh, so many acronyms. WSA, Windows Subsystem for Android.
Well, and apparently a lot of the work that went into WSLG to make make GUI apps work in WSL, a lot of that work is what enabled this to happen.
Oh, yes, that's a good point. And by the way, there's a fresh update for WSLG. So 1.0 something. Go and get it if you are using WSLG.
I think I'm curious to see the new store. I do like the fact that there's more emphasis on building desktop apps. What I really want to be able to do is to tap a button and have my whole machine create itself with all the tools and stuff that I need. So, WinGet and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yes, I love
Chocolatey.
WinGet these days. How do you set up your machine? So if you get a brand new machine, do you use WinGet to do everything? Do you use Chocolatey? What is your process?
I've started doing WinGet a lot more, but it's WinGet, and I try to keep it to like a bare minimum. Like I don't want a bunch of stuff, to be honest.
Kay Bloomfield says Choco. Yeah, I don't know. Like there are
What do you
5
use?
or 6 tools that we install, right? I do Git, VS Code, Terminal, WSL from tools, Adobe Premiere for all the work that we do for post editing, OBS. I think that's it. These are the main tools I will install. I mean, if just a developer machine, then it's just VS Code, .NET Runtime, Node, and Git, and off we go.
Yeah.
So Git, VS Code, Windows Terminal, WSL, and then mostly good. Fuel Snubble is with me. Thank you for Fuel Snubble. Sahil, by the way, we never stopped streaming. In fact, we do more streams these days because we have to learn stuff. So I don't know where you've been, my friend, but Tuesdays and Fridays are always here. We're always here. Next week we'll have shows without JP, unfortunately, but he deserves some time off. I'm staying back to hold the fort, but yeah, we'll be doing shows, and we've been doing shows for a while. We might take some break in July, I think, maybe a week to regroup and do some stuff. But
Come back with a better 425 show for all of you.
yeah, better presenters,
More presenters, more. You know,
more.
Speaking of
more.
more presenters, our resident celebrity was on Azure Friday, which came out today. So there's the link. Make sure we'll put it in the chat.
Hey, it's a dream come true, man. I've been watching Hanselman for what 6 years on Azure Fridays. It's like maybe it's time that I go there and talk about identity.
Yeah,
By
that's
the way,
awesome.
I was getting schooled by I don't know. There's like this kind of aura that he emits that I was freaking out while I was doing the standard demos. It's like no, it's okay, calm down. Like, how am I freaking out with this one? This is what I do every single day. Like zoom in, zoom out. It's controlled zero. Like I know these things. Anyway, he was
That's
good.
awesome.
He was fun to work with, and they have their own production team, right? It's outside Channel 9, so Rob Caron, I think, helps out with all the production, and these guys are awesome. So watch it. Let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Join us on Discord. This is the best place to be if you have any questions. Scott Hasman never sleeps. I tried to emulate that, and my wife is super upset because I do that all the time.
Cargo cult. Well, that's awesome. I remember when Shannon did hers, like it was like the week before yours or 2 weeks ago when Shannon Keene did hers. She's a friend of the show, a friend of ours. She said the same thing. Like she was super like nervous and starstruck, but he was like really chill and
Yes.
just like helped out and told her what to change and told her to chill and everything's cool. And she said she really liked it a lot. So.
But it's crazy. Why would you get stressed? I mean, you go there with the stuff that you demo them a million times, and then you go there like, oh my god, it's like sitting in front of a giant audience. Anyway,
Celebrity. It's just I don't know. It's
Celebrity.
just celebrity, I guess. So before too long, that'll be you. You'll go back and look at these. You'll go back and look at these shows, and
you mean us?
You'll
Us,
probably
not
laugh.
me. Us. Oh, by the way, talking about followers and stuff, I actually hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, which now means I can do 3-minute videos rather than 1-minute videos. I don't have to speak like a freaking train going 250 miles an hour. And we can do live streams. So maybe we'll try to do a live chat on TikTok one day and see how it goes. Talk about identity and other tech stuff. But yeah, it took 2 months, man, to get
Are you the one who's gonna dance? Because I'm not very good at dancing.
No freaking dancing, right? I am not freaking dancing on TikTok. If you want to see dancing, you can follow other people. I will just do technical stuff.
Yeah.
No more TikToking like a squirrel on Red Bull. Yeah, exactly, Exegate. I cannot do that anymore. I can pause a little bit and take a breath because 1 minute is extremely... Like, you have to count your words. It's crazy. Yeah, JP and... JP sits there bitter in the cool darkness. No.
I need to turn the
I
lights
made
off.
Christos into what he is.
Christos
Hey,
made
I
me
wouldn't
into
be
what
here
I
without
am.
JP. I'll tell you that. This show is... You can't run this show with just one of us. We are a team. I'll tell you
You
that.
sit in the dark and have like a smoky cigar and sit in the corner. There's too much brightness too much light from the screens. I guess I can't do it. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's fun. It's been
Yes.
a fun year. We're coming up on our year anniversary in like 3 weeks, I think. So
We are fourth. Was it like July 7th? We did our first inaugural show.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy, right? Because this time last year we're talking about what we're gonna do and if Twitch is a good solution for us. So we're super grateful for all of you that have been sticking with us for the whole year and all the shows and for giving us ideas and for slagging us when we don't do the right things.
You know, this reminds me. So, date added oldest. Let's see. So we had migrating apps from ADAL to MSAL. This was 11
the-
months ago. So this
Yes.
video is on YouTube. And here, let me share my screen so you guys can all. So we can
Oh
all,
no, we were such amateur back then. You know?
oh well, back then we were as if
So many years ago.
as if it's changed. Okay, let me see here. Let me get my screen up. All right, and let me get my browser. Sorry, I am definitely a little unprepared today because I'm going on vacation
It's okay.
soon, and it's.
So don't have any
Okay.
other news. I think there was a blog post by Shubon, our is his VP,
Our fearless leader.
our fearless leader, talking about meeting zero trust architecture guidance. So if your company is trying to achieve zero trust, there's a fantastic blog post. I need to put it there. Oh, that was our first.
So this
That was our first. Yeah.
I was so this was our first. I think this was one of our very first shows that we decided to do. July 9th of 2020, so almost a year ago. And we had this awful. I mean, this was seriously what we put together in like. It took us like 3 days to put this together.
Check the
then-
Azure logo, my friend. I mean, the Azure AD logo. It's there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh.
This
What
one.
am I
This,
wearing? Am I wearing a shirt?
no, this was part one, and it was 4 hours.
4 hours.
long. And I had this music I found like some random place on the internet. So hang on. So once it finally gets started, let me mute it because I don't think
Is
any
that
of you
is
can
that
hear it.
YouTube and it's just taking forever?
No. Because remember, we didn't trim or cut these or anything. So we just uploaded them straight
I'm telling
up.
you,
So there's
dude, pure amateurs there.
so there's like 3 minutes of amateur hour of us just like and I found this weird. It was almost like my buddy said it sounded like porno music, and that's pretty much what it sounded like. Anyway, so the thing is, when we decided to do this, I was on vacation.
Yes, you
And
were.
see, so there's OBS. So that was OBS to start with, and then
Am I wearing a shirt for our first stream? I was wearing a shirt. I want to be official.
so you were wearing a shirt. We had a
Yes.
font that was unreadable. We had you had a camera apparently sitting on your desk. I was sitting in my sister-in-law's basement.
Oh, that was my laptop. Remember back then I didn't have the
Oh,
desktop,
yeah.
so everything was on the laptop, and that was such a weird angle.
Yeah.
The booger cam.
Booger
Yes.
cam. And our font was way too small.
Uh-huh.
And the windows behind me were so bright because it's an unfinished basement. The windows behind me were so bright that I put pillows up so they would because the glare was too bad. Otherwise, you couldn't see my face. So that was a
Dark Eyes
throwback.
Girl says, I remember the no light setup. Yeah, we were, as I said, super amateurs.
yeah. So at least we figured out. At least while we may not be any smarter, we've at least figured out how to put on a decent production. It's amazing. It's amazing what hiring people and saying, "Can you please make us images that don't suck?"
Yep.
It's amazing
Yep.
what they can do. So, so anyway,
Light and cameras look great now. Thank you. Actually, I forgot to put my lights on. Thank you so much for reminding me. Still an amateur, as you can see.
yeah. See, my white balance is all off. It looks like I'm
You're-
like I'm in like sepia tone, like sitting
Yes.
in a like we're recording this from the Titanic or something. But
Well, people are calling it the pre-neon sign days.
that's right.
I was talking to Todd, our manager, yesterday. And he said, "You guys have done really great this year. We haven't really gotten into any trouble." I said, "Well, we got in trouble for the sign." And but I said, in our defense, it was only a $500 problem, and it didn't cost the company millions. So I think we can take that arrow.
Yeah, it's like, well, hey, I mean, nobody traveled, right? So we'll just burn the travel budget on your neon sign, apparently.
Hold on.
Meanwhile-
$500 doesn't even fly you halfway through Europe. What are you talking about?
Meanwhile, I have a $30 Super Mario question mark light. It does have a hue bulb in it. In fact, I think the bulb costs more than the lamp itself, but, whatever. To each their own. So.
We need to do some give. You know what? On the annual stream, we need to do some giveaways. Maybe some Azure credits and maybe some swag. What do you think?
I think we absolutely should.
Yes, we have some swag from t-shirts, caps, water bottles, stickers, and Azure credits. So if you guys are sticking around, then we'll do. I think it's the 7th of July, right, JP? Is that the annual anniversary?
I think so, which is... wait, that's like... let me
2
check.
weeks.
That is a week from this coming Wednesday. 10 days away.
Oh, and
So
you're
we should
back.
we should do like a...
A special.
we should
Wednesday
do a
special.
special.
An afternoon special, right?
Do a Wednesday afternoon special.
It's a date.
And the thing is, here's the funny thing. I'll be back in the basement of my sister-in-law.
I mean, it's perfect. Like, maybe we should bring back the old graphics. Just scrap
just
away
for one,
the new
just
ones.
for one day. Yeah.
Just for one day, yeah.
Yeah.
What time zone? We haven't decided yet, but we'll try to make it friendly to everyone.
Maybe like Wednesday, like midday.
Do a throwback
Like,
stream. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do a throwback stream, exactly.
yeah. We should
Dig
do
out the old graphics, and we'll make
Yeah.
it retro.
We should get one of those like effects that makes the whole screen look like an old tube TV, you know. 4:24
Oh, yeah.
p.m. Good call, Elliot Brand. 4:24 p.m.
To 4 p.m. Yeah, but that would be
Before-
super late for everyone. Which time zone?
Well, we could do 4:20. What if we did 4:25 UTC? That would be 12:30, 12:25 for me, and 9:25 for you.
And that would be right after our our IT pro friends.
Dark Eyed Girl says we should do it. We should do it at midnight. You know, we could do it at midnight.
We could do it at midnight.
Here's
Why
the thing
not?
that's crazy.
Uh-huh.
We did that 8 out of MSAL stream a year ago,
Yes.
and we're still trying to get people to migrate from 8 out of MSAL.
Well, considering the fact that it took us, 11 hours to do that migration ourselves?
Maybe we should do 8 out of MSAL again.
And the cycle repeats, and then we'll
Yeah.
take all the old streams that we did and we'll do them again.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's right.
Hey guys, new follower here. I am currently a .NET developer interested in AI and cybersecurity. Rock on, buddy. But I can't make up my mind which one to choose. I find both of them interesting. Can you please advise? Ooh, okay. I know nothing about AI and ML other than using cognitive services on Azure, which means somebody else has done the hard work and I only consume them. So from that perspective, I would say cybersecurity is, I find it a little more interesting. I wanted to be a hacker. I've done stuff on and off with security. So I would say cybersecurity, from my perspective. I know that there's a massive gap and need for security experts in the industry. It will always be there, right? Because people are stupid and they write stupid software, or hackers will always try to find a hole somewhere. So I would say cybersecurity would be a safe choice, in my humble opinion. JP, your opinion? Porque los dos.
I would.
Why not both? Let's see.
Yeah, why not both?
I can read
But-
Spanish now.
No, why not both for sure? But I would say there are so few people who know how to write software and have an understanding of security that you will be employable for the rest of your days that way.
Yep.
But I would say you'll have more opportunity as a software engineer than as a security or cybersecurity specialist, sort of. I'm not saying that's
Yep.
always going to be true, but there's a lot of general purpose development out there. And being able to bring a security focus into general purpose development is probably good for the industry. It might be too altruistic for you, but
Yep.
there's a huge, huge need for people who understand identity and security and understand software development, because there just aren't that many. And
That's a good point. Right.
so I think there's certainly a lot of opportunity there, but that would certainly not preclude you from also being, chasing down things that interest you in AI too.
Yep.
So I would, but if I was going to choose my career today, knowing what I know now, I would specialize in being a security-focused software engineer.
Exactly. As JP said, I've always dabbled with security, and it's nice to know that when you write software, you need to have this kind of a mindset of security development lifecycle, what you do, how what you write could affect your software. And if you can combine both, then that's fantastic. Also, cybersecurity is a wide field. You can go from hardware security to physical security to social engineering to actually protecting operating systems and finding bugs. So you need to decide which area in security you want to focus on. I would say you have the developer skills, so development, security focus would probably help you do a lot of stuff. And you can play in both fields, right? You can say I'm a developer, so I can do all these things, but you can also say I know security like OWASP, and I can help you and advise you on how to write better software and more secure software. So I would go down the path. And as I said, a lot of services out there also provide you with a lot of AI ready capabilities. I saw somebody yesterday was trying to write a translation service on TikTok and like, oh, I'm gonna do it in 5 days. I'm like, dude, you don't need to. You just call an API and does the translation for you. So the fact that people are not aware that there are tools out there that allow you to do most of the machine learning out of the box means that maybe 10 years down the line it becomes a deprecated kind of thing because somebody else does it and you can focus on consuming the services. Microsoft Security Insights on Twitch is a top one. Interesting. I didn't know we had a Microsoft Security Insights stream.
I know. I'm gonna
Did
go
you know
look
that,
now.
Jimmy?
Is that the name of the channel?
It looks like it because it's like 3 words bungled together.
No, it is. Yeah, they only have 87 followers. Maybe we should raid them today.
We should follow. Well, we
Oh, no,
can't.
they're not- well,
we
they're not live
got our
today.
Dallas.
That's true. We do have a friend. All right, we're gonna follow them. That seems like a
We
good
will
one to
follow
them.
Yeah, what's the link? I think it's twitch.tv or twitch.com and then Microsoft
Literally,
Security Insights.
Microsoft Security Insights. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we need to
Thank
figure
you.
out who's doing it so we can work with them. So that's the other thing. If you're interested in security, or if you work in security, Microsoft's hiring a bunch of security folks for customer stuff. So if you're working with customers and either selling them security products or helping them use the security products that they've bought or figuring out security strategies and all sorts of things like that. There are a ton of security roles open. So careers.microsoft.com. If you want to come work in identity, we have a bunch of jobs open too. And so you can search
250 jobs, my friends. So we're definitely hiring people. And you don't need to be super deep in identity. We can teach you.
Yeah.
Like me.
So,
I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm still here.
so
Learning everything.
So yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's right. Our Dallas, we're gonna do, our Dallas is doing another identity stream today. What are you doing?
I'm taking a selfie for my fans.
How old are you again? When is your birthday? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Hey, it is what it is. You know how people take pictures of their food? I need to take pictures of the stream. Show them how the cheese is made, you know? Trial and error
I'm
until it
sorry,
compiles. Yeah.
I couldn't resist. I had the opportunity
Don't.
was right in front of me, and I had to take it. So.
My fans expect, content. So interesting. Yeah. Let us know what you think. Are we doing any coding today?
Should,
Do we want
should
to
we
do
do
coding?
some? Should we do some?
Or are you in
coding?
mood for more chat? I don't know.
I mean, I'm happy to chat. I'm happy to write code. What do you want to do?
Oh, do we have a link for all the open jobs in identity? Sahil is asking. Do we have a shortcut?
I
Is it
don't know if we have a
AK.ms?
shortcut, but if you search
Careers.microsoft.com.
search for hashtag identity job.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find one and put the link there.
And I'm pretty sure it's hash identity jobs. I think.
We have identity
I
as
think.
well. Hashtag identity. Let me pass that on.
Is it hashtag identity? Is that the one that we have?
It is principal PM, PM, senior PM, PM, engineering. How many are there?
Yeah, I think there are quite a few.
6. That was 6. Do you say identity jobs?
I think it's identity jobs with a pluralized.
39 here as well. So between these 3, you can probably find them.
And it's summertime, and summertime, of course, there's lots of hiring that comes in and out. Mm-hmm. New roles open, some roles go away, that sort of thing. So it's a good time to be in, good time to come over and hang out. So, yeah. Where do you work, Dark Eyes Girl? That identity is interesting. Where you work?
Yes.
You don't have to tell us the name, but like, what makes it interesting? I'm curious. I don't know. Do you want to write some code today? I
Tell me.
we were working on the thing earlier, the token cache thing.
Yes.
The thing I was thinking was like, I can't even make this up. I had a call with a customer after our last show. So when was our last show? Tuesday. I had a call with a customer on Wednesday. And they said, we're having a really hard time figuring out how to do this. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, what is this? And then they explained this, and it's exactly the thing that we're trying to do. So
Oh,
I
nice.
thought, well, what if I was to take this thing and turn it into
An open source library.
like a library and a token cache, or sorry, a library and like an MSAL extension or whatever, and put it up on NuGet.
Nice.
So I don't know.
How far are we now? Actually, the last time you were writing a ton of code and we never run it.
That's true. Last time we wrote a bunch of code and we did not ever run it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, let's take a really short break and we'll come back and we'll write some code. What do you think about that? Does that work for you?
Yes.
That
Yeah,
works
let's
for me.
do a quick break.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Get a drink, use the bathroom, have a smoke,
Get ready to see some code.
and we'll write some code. Let's go figure out how to make a NuGet package. Or should we see
Wait,
if it
haven't-
works first?
Have you tested the I was going to say, test the code.
No, fly by the seat of our pants.
Who needs testing, right?
Yeah, the other thing I realized is today is my wedding anniversary.
What? You just found out?
I didn't just find out. I just remembered.
You just remember? I mean, you just remembered?
I did.
And I suspect they haven't prepared anything.
I'm going to the beach. I'll do it down there.
That's not an anniversary present. Here you are, honey. I put gas on the car. That's the best present I can give you. You can go anywhere
Actually,
you want now.
I think the last date my wife and I had was taking her to the hospital to have our third kid. So we're probably a little overdue.
Don't even remind me. It's been like 15 months of uninterrupted 24/7 with the kids. It's just insane. We need a break.
Yeah, I know that feeling. So, okay.
So Ganit AK is asking, are you guys writing security software? Well, we're writing security aware code, right? As in, we make sure that when you read resources, you do it securely. We make sure that you authenticate your users, that you have the right tokens, the right permissions. So this is the side of security that we're focusing on most of these streams. Secretless apps, secure access, authentication, authorization. Same day anniversary gifts are the best. Yes. So you need to rush out and go and get a present?
No, because my sister-in-law is coming. Because she's going to the beach with us, so they're on their way.
Oh.
Maybe that's her present. I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
Dude, remind me never to ask you for a birthday present. There you go. There you go. He's like, you got me. That's your best present.
I don't know if that's a present or a curse.
Prime now, maybe? Same day
See,
Prime?
I don't have Prime now where I am.
Oh. Can you send your
Sadly.
present to the beach? Like
Yeah.
at the where you're staying? You can do that.
I think we're gonna try to go. I think we're gonna try to go out while we're down there. We'll go to dinner one night or something. But I don't know. What do you get for the 11th anniversary? Do you have any idea?
I just buy stuff. I say to my wife, what do you want to get? Just go get it. That's the best
11th
present.
Anniversary. What do you get for the 11th anniversary?
I don't know. Do you have to abide by the rules? I'm going to order
know.
my wife some flowers to make up for you.
Okay, so one year was wood, and so I got her this book called the Wood Book, and it's literally a book like this thick, all about different types of wood. But she thought that was funny.
She must have been delighted.
Let's see, steel or fashion jewelry.
So some people have amazing ideas. Bungee jump, get her bungee jump. Mention to her that the 4 to 5. Say to her that you mentioned her on the 4 to 5 stream, so that's famous. So you make her famous. Get her to its Prime so she can watch you for 11 months.
Yeah,
A spa day off, yeah. Limo service.
Yeah.
Limo service to where? I mean, you can't go anywhere. It's still unsafe.
No, just well, honestly, she might like that because she could just roll up the window, stay in the driveway, and take a nap.
Time away from the kids. That would be a great present. You look after the kids for a day.
Exigent has the right idea. Steel and fashion jewelry. It's like some sort of a girder. A garter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Steel. I don't know.
Steel.
I guess maybe neither of us have ever been super...
Ball bearings.
Maybe just not ball bearings she can wear around her neck.
It's like pearls, but made of
Really,
steel. How
but
about
really
that?
heavy. Yeah.
A steel series keyboard? Oh, that's a good idea. You can get her a new keyboard. I got a new keyboard, by the way, which rocks.
A car?
So,
What?
what?
A car?
I mean, he's rich, but not that rich.
I mean,
Also, a Renault? I mean, of all the cars you could get her a Renault?
that doesn't feel like a gift. That's the gift that keeps on giving. That's the gift that you have to take in for service every 6 months.
Oh,
I
man,
guess you,
we just lost sponsorship from Citroen Renault now. Damn.
somehow I think we'll be okay.
We'll survive.
It's like a Land,
Ergo
like
Dogs, easy.
like a Land Rover. You buy two, one to drive, while the other one's in the shop. So
Get
watch
her a
the matching
fridge.
ones.
Get her a fridge so she can fill it up with your favorite drinks.
Oh man, yeah. So, but you know, she's
Thank you,
all right.
guys. Thank you for all the puppies. Oh, don't get her a puppy. No.
Oh no.
Do you guys have a pet?
We have a cat.
Oh, you have a cat.
My son wants a dog, but we're going to wait till they're a little bit older because right now they are all at the age where getting a dog means that I am buying myself a dog. So, you know.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I better handle that after the show today. Figure out
Yes.
what to get. Years ago, when we bought the wood book, it was because I had a bunch of people at work and we were all out at lunch, and I remembered, and they're like, well, let's go get her a gift now. And so I took like 5 people with me from work to go find her a gift. And that was how we ended up with the wood book. So, a keg. Yeah, that's a fashion accessory, and it's made out of steel.
To drag it around everywhere you go. Honey, don't forget the keg.
Get her a kegerator in the car. And neither of us really drink, so it'd be a complete circus. So, okay. So last time we talked, we need an MSAL that can go and call to read a calendar. We need to read a calendar from Graph. But we can't use an application permission, right? Should I be talking to you on Twitter so you see it?
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I don't care. No. Don't
No. I was
get in your way.
Okay.
We should do a Twitter Spaces coaster.
We have discussed about that. We need to do a Twitter Spaces. Would you guys come for a voice-only Twitter Spaces? Passive aggressiveness. Well, I'm used to JP being passive aggressive. You should have seen how he opened our meeting yesterday. That was a fun meeting.
Was.
Do not cross JP. You might end up with a keg for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you'll end up with a keg and a bunch of ball bearings, apparently. With a dog. A keg-shaped doghouse.
Oh, God,
With
yes.
dogs in it.
No. I know JP too much to be upset. And he was right anyway. I wasn't paying attention. Let's get the MSAL. Come on. Get me the MSAL.
He gives me a hard time, too, so. Anyway. Okay. So we can't do an application permission, right?
Yes.
Because it's too broad.
Elevated. Yes.
So instead we need a user permission, but we need the user permission to be somewhat persistent because we're going to need to do it on a regular basis after the user is gone.
Yes.
Which means we need to store that in an MSAL cache with a refresh token. And then on some sort of a schedule, I guess we're going to go rehydrate that and call Graph.
Correct.
So let's get down. The thing is, there's a bunch of classes in here right now.
Yes.
So we're going to use table storage because A, I like table storage, and B, I like table storage, and let's see, WA. Storage.
So much for hiding your stuff.
And,
anyway,
I tried.
you did your best. JP is it's not an innovator. What is it called when you try things early on?
Stupid.
Well, you said it. I didn't say it, but you went with it. You know what? I'm waiting for my laptop to get the notification. I can go and get it. But talking about table storage, that's what I remembered. Early adopter. Yes, thank you, Exegate.
Early adopter. There we go.
Yeah, he's an early adopter. Too early for his
early.
own good. On his main machine.
425.
425.
Too early.
Ooh, see what you did there. Table storage now has a brand new SDKs that allows you to do Azure AD MSI authentication, which will not support it. So there's a brand new SDK, but I don't know if it's out yet. It might be in preview still.
I don't think
As
it
in
is
very
out.
early preview.
I don't think it is out just yet. So
No, it's not out, but it will be coming, and they're working on it. So I think it's internal bits only. We can't show it, but it will be coming very soon. So if you are using table storage, just be aware. Sorry, go on.
So we've got the table storage emulator up, which I'm still using the old one just because it's what I've got on my machine. But I want to switch to Azurite sometime soon. And for table storage, I'm using it for 2 reasons. It's super fast and it's super cheap. So we're going to store our cache in there. And the way that you work with MSAL caches is a little different. Instead of us having to implement an entire cache, all we do is hook into 4 events. Before access, which is before you access the cache.
Yep.
and after access, which is after the cache has been accessed, right? And you do this twice. You hook up to those two events for users, for user caches, and for application caches. Now, we're not going to have an app cache, but we're still going to hook into the app, or we're still going to hook into the event just so that the event is covered. And all we do in that event is handle either the persistence of the bytes or the fetching of the bytes, and then hand it back to MSAL. So we don't have to deal with any of the MSAL specifics around how it gets serialized or how it gets deserialized or managing keys or any of that sort of stuff. We're just going to get a blob of data. We're going to base 64 it so we can stick the bytes into storage and then be that. So.
Someone is complaining about your theme.
Oh, okay, well, let's see. Let's pick a new theme.
Sirius PH, thank you for the feedback. See, we listen to you guys. JP is going to change his feedback. Can you make it more hurtful? You can do better. Make it more hurtful. What kind of themes are these? Where did you get them from?
I don't know. These are the ones that are in here.
Wow.
There we go. Windows Classic. Although
it feels broken.
It does.
Oh, is it because you had to configure your theme to work with Synthwave?
Here, I'll just use the default one. How about that?
As long as no white, he said.
I think I have to restart VS Code.
Oh, do you? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. May I
That's
suggest
fine.
Gentle
I'll restart
Builder?
I
Gentle
can
Builder
restart it. I don't mind.
by Luca Coach. I haven't tried that one. Is it good? I'm curious now. I use the bearded theme, which I like a lot. But yesterday I watched somebody comment on how people use hues of purple on their VS Code, which is not the best.
Yeah, I can see that. That might be a little painful. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit. Zoom. I'll zoom in the code a bit. Okay, is this better?
Let me see, and I'll tell you.
Xerius.
I like it.
Is that more or less painful to the eyes? So.
Yeah, he says better, much better. Thank you, Zeus. We
Okay,
gained
good.
one follower. Now you have to go and follow us on Discord, Zeus, because we did all that hard work for you. Join us on Discord.
Okay.
I'll put the link there.
So, before access is when we're going to go fetch the data from table storage. We're going to fetch those bytes and we're going to give them back to MSAL. After access is after the state or after the cache has been accessed, meaning something's been written or whatever. We're going to see, has the state changed, which is here on 89, and if it has changed, we're going to go persistent. So we're going to do an upsert, essentially, an insert or replace here, where we're going to say if you've changed the cache for this specific user, we're going to update it. And the reason why we have to go through all this sort of silliness is by virtue of how MSAL caching works. We need to have a unique
Key.
cache for each user.
Sorry, yeah. But that's defined by the key, right? That's how you do
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there's nothing technically stopping you from having one really big cache. If you use the same key, you're going to have the same cache. The problem then is you end up with either a very large cache, and you have tokens that are commingling with other users. And of course, you could, maybe that's no big deal, especially if you have a small number of users. But you wouldn't really want that. You wouldn't really want that cache commingled with others, and it's not going to scale very well. In a web context, this is pretty easy because the user's going to sign in and we're going to know who the user is. For us, we're going to have to store the users that we have somewhere so we know what the cache keys are.
Yep.
So we've got our after access and our before accesses. So some of these are just helper things, but the biggest problem we have is we can't provide MSAL a cache key when we need to access the cache. We have to provide it the cache key when we create it.
Yeah, so we use a temporary one, right? That's how we went around it.
So we're going to create one, and we're going to create these clients, the MSAL clients, as we need them, instead of just creating one that we're going to reuse. We're going to create them as we need them, configure the caches with the right key, and then use the thing we have. So that's what our MSAL client factory here is for. And it's going to do some creation, and it's just going to create it. It's got a couple checks to figure out if you're using a certificate or if you're using a client secret, and then we're just going to return it back. The other thing that we're doing is configuring our token cache itself with the specific user identifier, right? So the derived user identifier, this is the one that gets it out for web apps. We're actually not going to use this one because we're not using a web app. We're using a function app, and so we're not going to have a user sitting there in front of us. But this goes and pulls it out of the principal, out of the user principal itself. So it just reads the claims, reads the requisite claims to derive that key. So if we go back over to our functions, let me see, which function are we in? We are in stream overlay data. So this is the data that we need for running things like our calculator or our calendar and all that sort of stuff. We have two things. We've got our authorized call. So this is the thing that goes to Azure AD to sign the user in.
Yep.
Because we need these calendars read shared, that's the scope that we need to read the calendar. That's what we're going to have in our authorization request, and that's what a user is going to consent to the first time they come through.
Yep.
We're going to create an MSAL client with this transient identity because we don't have an identity yet. It's very chicken and egg. So we either, if we try to sign the user in, we don't have a cache key, but the cache has already been created at that point, and we can't change the key. So we have to sign the user in with this sort of temp key, sign them in, write to the cache, figure out who they are, and then rename the cache, essentially, is what it comes down to.
Yep.
So we're going to create it with this transient identity here, redirect the user out to go and sign in. We're going to see this in just a sec. After the user signs in, they're going to come back, and they're going to hit this endpoint. So this is the authorization callback, which is just graph whack auth whack callback. This is the thing that actually redeems the code and handles the identity, transients, and all that sort of stuff. So it converts the transient identity to the actual identity, since we're actually going to know that identity by now. And then at that point, now we have a cache that is keyed on a specific user.
Yep.
Right? So this gets us our cache. The other thing we have to do now is we have to go fetch our cache and then make our graph call. But we'll come back to that. And I think last time SDK won, right?
Yes.
We did our poll, so we're going to use Graph SDK for this.
I think it was a landslide, my friend. It wasn't even a win.
Yeah, because what was it, 600%?
Yes.
600% SDK. So I guess to start, we're going to need a few settings. So we're going to need to get this all sort of wired up. So we'll spend 10 minutes writing code, and then we'll spend 30 minutes figuring out how to make
debugging.
how to get everything in the DI container correctly.
Yep.
So we got, in fact, we may not, well, I guess we do need the MSAL client here. So we got our MSAL client. We also are going to inject a graph service client. So let's go to our startup. Do I have a startup in here? Where's my startup?
Not yet. I don't think we had a startup because we didn't need to do any dependency injection until now.
Oh, no, here it is. Sorry. It's right.
Oh, you have one?
Function startup. Yeah. Apparently I'm just blind.
You named it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I shouldn't have named it function startup. I should have named the file startup, so I'd remember it. So let's rename that startup.cs. Okay. So we're going to get our configuration, no sweat there, and then we're going to build some. We're going to build some stuff. So
are you bootstrapping the right class there? Scroll up to the top. Where is it? The assembly stuff. Are you? Yeah. Okay, that's right. You only name the file, not the class. Cool.
Oh yeah, because the class was startup anyway, so that should have matched.
Cool.
This is the special attribute for functions DI.
Yep.
That
well, it's the bootstrapping of the startup, right? It's the middleware that runs before your function. You can put anything there, not just DI.
So I don't know. Have we created an iAuthentication provider yet for our token cache? I don't think we have. That's the last thing that we need to create. And our iAuthentication provider is, I guess we'll call this, let's see. I'm just going to create it down here just so I keep my context in my brain. So we'll call this our per user.
No clean code? Damn, man.
We'll move it.
You're like writing like a savage right these days.
We'll
Moving.
move it.
I can tell that you're on holiday mode because you're sticking classes all over the place. Fine. Fine. I'll ignore it for now. I'll let it slide. You're on holiday mode.
So per user token cache MSAL authentication provider. I used to work with a guy who complained about my copious use of
long
var. And so I thought, fine, you don't like me using VAR, then I will be overly explicit in the things that we have. And
Well,
this
he didn't
needs
like
to-
VAR.
He did not like VAR. So this needs to implement iAuthentication Provider.
And I want a poll for that. Can we do a poll? VAR or explicit? Let's do a poll.
Yeah. VAR or explicit? Let's
Tell
do
us.
a poll.
Apparently, a lot of people in the .NET team are going back into explicit, like Emo and a couple of other PMs that I know. We're talking about explicit and how they like it being back. So I don't know. It took me a while to go into VAR, and now I don't want to go back. Do you guys use VAR or do you like to use explicit? VAR is too JavaScripty. Could be. Let us know in the poll.
All right, poll is up and going. If you can't do the poll,
Oh, nice.
if you can't do the poll, then join us on aka.ms/45 show or 45 show on Twitch, because that's where we have. See, I personally like VAR. Maybe it's because I did a bunch of work and I was doing a bunch of stuff in Link. I am fairly partial to VAR. Because especially in the cases where either with Link, where you have virtually no idea what's going to come back, but it's probably going to be an enumerable of some sort, especially for the intermediate steps. But I don't know, VAR just seems like a great solution.
Hover over. You can see what the VAR is.
Yeah.
Come on. That's what I'm saying. I use VAR.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like split. People say it depends. Why do you even put it depends?
I know, I should have.
Explicit unless it's a basic type. Oh, Exegate wants to be explicit. Okay. 40%. Oh, come on, let us know. Vote it. We got 16 people on the stream. Don't be... Vote. Yeah.
Okay, so our
Next vote.
iAuthentication provider, we essentially get a request. So the request that comes in is the request that the Graph SDK is about to send out. So here we're going to be doing default, or let's see, is it headers? And then we've got an authentication or authorization header, which is a new, and I believe it's a system.net.http headers. Yeah, there we go. And so our scheme in this case is going to be bearer. And then we're going to need to get our token. So now we need an MSAL. So in order for us to use our MSAL, so we're going to have to, let's see, public per user token cache MSAL authentication provider. Goodness gracious. Here is where we need our MSAL client factory. And we'll just call this MSAL factory. The advantage here, of course, would be that you could potentially use a different authentication provider if you were testing with client creds or something else, which I think would be kind of nice and probably something that we should dig into if we wanted to. So we're going to need our MSAL factory, and that's what we're going to use. So we'll get our MSAL factory. And our factory will handle all of the work of creating them for us. Should probably name these things the same. But vacation mode is hard on vacation mode right now. So our client factory, we're going to need to create for an identifier. And this is where it's going to get a little interesting, is how do we know the identifier? How do we know the identifier? I think
Guid.
Gwid, that new Gwid.
Always random numbers.
Well, now that I'm
Mark
thinking
that
about
random.
it, now that I think about it, so I think we're going to have to create our graph service client when we need it. dig?
Explicitly. Okay.
Yep. So we'll create a new graph service client in our methods where we need it. At which point we can give it our thing, or give it the identifier that we need. And in order to get the identifier, we're going to have to go look in tables or somewhere to go say, okay, which accounts plural, which accounts do we have? Which, granted, for this specific purpose, we'll have one account. But it's possible we'd have multiple accounts.
Right. Yes,
Because
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if we were to say, let's make this a service that anybody can use to go read their calendars, then we need to we need to know who they are when they come in order to go use their thing. So I don't think we'll create our iAuthentic. Well, we might create an iAuthentication provider, but our authentication provider, we're going to have to hand it we're going to have to give it an identifier and let it do it. So we'll create these ourselves. So I'll just put identifier in here. Oops, identifier. So when we create this, we'll give it one. We could honestly, I'm almost wondering if we just make this static at this point. Well, we can't make it static, so we'll just
There's a
call
question
this.
from John Peak. Is there a substantial difference between out of process and in process functions when you set up authentication? Apparently, out of process does not have a startup middleware. Is that correct?
Out of process has startup middleware, but it is not the same function startup here.
Yes.
So it's you can use whatever middleware you want. I have not tried an out of process function. I have not tried an out of process function with authentication yet. I believe. I don't think I've done that yet. I've done an out of process function, but I don't.
But no middleware.
I've done middleware too, but I don't. That's the secrets rotator, and yeah, secrets rotator is timer based. I have not tried the HTTP one yet. I don't think the authentication middleware would work just off the back of my hand. You will have access to the requests, and so you'd have to look at the request yourself and figure it out. The second part of that is the types that you get, the input and output bindings that you have are different. You can't use rich types in the bindings. So, and the other thing about it, I don't really like that you still have to do bindings on there. But anyway, you still have to do bindings on individual functions. I'd rather have bindings on the whole app in a pool, and I just call the binding. I pick out the binding that I want at a certain time, but maybe I just haven't figured out how to do that yet. Yeah. Okay. So this is an inproc function right now, and because it is inproc, you have to use the function startup, which is a similar but not identical to what you would do in an out of process one. Okay, so msal. So we get our msal here, and then our msal. We need to acquire token. Oops. Essentially, we're going to acquire token silent. And if acquire token silent fails, we're pretty much dead because there's no
because there's no UI. But you're gonna be using the how are you gonna do? So since we can't do interactive, right? We sign in the user, they consent to the permissions, and then therefore we have all we need to go and get it silent, right?
Sorry, so
are you gonna get the access token? Are you getting the access token as part of the sign-in?
I will get a refresh token as part of the sign-in.
So you're gonna use the refresh token. Oh, you get an access token and a refresh token, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you use the refresh token to redeem and get an access token again.
Correct.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to create our msal with a specific client, or sorry, with a specific cache. Then we can go and get an account out of that cache, although we still need that identifier. This is the hardest part.
Yeah, because you can't get accounts anymore. That has become
That's deprecated.
obsolete.
Yeah, that's obsolete.
Is obsolete or deprecated? Deprecated is the right word, I guess. And we don't have an identifier. Although, wait, if you sign in, you did that trick before, where you found the account ID from the principal, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, so we won't have a principal at this point.
Oh God! Yes.
So one option is one option is we store the identifier. The identifier that we store matches the msal identifier, which I don't remember if that's exactly how this code works right now. We'll have to go through and look at it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it does.
Okay.
So
Let's
if
give it a
that's
go.
so if that's the case, then we should be able to msal acquire token silent. And so we have our scopes, right? Which
Yeah.
these need to go into settings. Calendars dot read. Oops. Oh, sorry.
You have that right below you. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, no, you're right. Let's get our account, and this will be in our msal get account async, and this will just use the identifier. Let's see if we get it back. Now, there's a lot. Each one of these calls could fail, but we will make sure we put some proper error handling in here. So we
Be
need
back
to give
for
it,
the win.
So we need to give it the account, which is the account. So we got the account. What doesn't it like about this? Because it's still an execute dot execute async. I always forget that.
I know.
There's an execute async that hangs off of that, and then in our authorization header, we will do
Pass
a
the-
token dot access
Dot
token,
access token.
and I think that's it. At this point, we've set the header, and I think we're done.
Well, we have 30 minutes to test it out and iron out any bugs. Let's do this. Plenty of time.
So in our startup, so we can't really provide. We're not going to be able to provide our authentication provider or our graph service client at startup.
Let's start. Yes.
So we get rid of those out of startup.
Yep. I like your confidence how getting rid of them means commenting them out.
Now, one thing we will need is
Yes.
we will need this msal client factory, so we can
Yeah.
add. Our msal client factory it's just creating clients, so it kind of does. There's really no state, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's singleton or transient or scoped. So
Correct.
we probably can just do a transient one. I guess we could do a scoped one per request.
Yeah.
So we'll do a scoped one of type msal client factory. Okay, so we got that. So then in our stream overlay data function,
Yep.
we're
We
getting
can
our
check
msal
this.
factory in, but we're not going to be
Oh,
able to
okay.
get. We're not going to be able to get our graph service client in.
Nope.
At least not yet.
Not
So
yet.
let's get. Oh no, I deleted the wrong thing. So let's get rid of our graph service client, which we've done. So we don't have a graph client. So we're gonna have to create our own graph client as we need them.
Yep. Another factory. No, I'm just kidding.
Factories that build factories that build factories.
Yeah.
So okay, so here's where we need a graph.
Ah,
Here's where we need
okay.
a
Should
graph
we just
client.
just grab a new. I
So
mean,
here's
I don't even know why you had a graph client factory there. Or
I didn't.
oh, you didn't have a factory. Sorry. Where's the bool factory class? We don't need bool factories. Where we're going.
What?
Fuel Snubble is just messing around with us.
Bull. Oh, wait a minute. We got to go look at our. We need to look at our
Paul?
poll results.
It was var. Var.
It was var by a nose.
Ah, you're losing with these polls, man. Back to back, 2 wins.
I know. No, yeah, you won. Yeah, you've won both of these now. Okay, so our graph service client also needs an iAuthentication provider. So we'll call this graph authentication provider. Since we're, and this is a new per user. This is why I need to move that class out of there because I don't want to have to. Let's move this. Move type to per user token cache. Okay.
Beautiful. Check that out. Refactoring for the win. And based
So-
on my current streak, I might might go for the president of the United States next. 2 out of 2. I got chances.
So we're going to need our msal factory, and now we need our identifier. And this is where we're going to have to actually go to storage first to look for this, to see which providers we have. And then we'll use our graph authentication provider here. And at this point, from here on out, we should be good to go. And we'll update this to be graph client to get our calendars. So now it's just a matter of either what? What are you laughing about?
Phil Snubble said we should do a poll. Massage the data. That's what we do here. Massaging the data.
It's kind of funny. The other day we were doing some like market research survey stuff, and one of the questions our boss, he's like, "Oh, I don't like those answers at all." And so we're like, "Okay, then what should we do?" He's like, "Well, I've rewritten the question so that it pretty much can't be answered in the way we don't want."
Massaging the data. Yeah.
I don't think that's the purpose of a poll.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to get an identifier now. For the purposes of this immediate moment, what we could do is because I think the other thing too is like, ideally, like let's say somebody comes in and they ask for a specific calendar, the calendar would be linked to a user who can go get it. You know what I mean? So like right now we've got our calendar ID hard coded in here, and so for the moment, just so that we can go ahead and try it out, well, I might just hard code my identifier in here. Or at a minimum, we could just go essentially look at the token caches and see which token caches we have in storage and use one of those. But let's run through the first part and see if that works. We should be able to build now. We should compile.
No, it says security. Specify a pro. Oh, you're not in the right directory then.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
I always do that.
See, I've also made the mistake of reusing something I shouldn't have used. I shouldn't have reused a project that I reused, but we should be able to build .NET build.
Dun, dun. First step, it builds and we're on.
Okay, good. So I've got some awaited calls that don't need to await somewhere, but we can come back to that. I'm going to put breakpoints in here, and we're going to watch this come through.
We want to watch this in all its glory. Let's see
if F5 works here. Oh, we have no configuration. I got to go get we got to put our configuration in here. We don't have any of that stuff done.
You mean app settings?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the app settings for the Azure AD bit. Mm-hmm. Oh, how did we forget that?
How did we forget that?
Executing task. Yeah.
All right. So let's go to portal.azure.com. I believe we have an app. I just don't think we've created secrets or done any of that stuff just yet. Which I'll probably, since it's a corporate one, I probably don't want to show myself.
Oh, are you still running 3.1 or are you .NET 5?
This one is 3.1 because 3.1, .NET 5 is not yet supported in functions unless you're doing .NET Isolated. We can move this to .NET Isolated. I just haven't because it's an older function that's doing other work for us. I just haven't done it yet.
When was the last time that you checked for that?
They said if you want to do .NET 5, it's isolated.
Look at that. It's one of the first results that come at the very top. Yeah. Still isolated.
Yep. Oh, there it is. 45 bot. Did we give this thing the right calendars? API permissions? Let me zoom this in a little bit. Yeah, so we've got calendars read shared. Cool. Let's go get our app ID, which we're going to need. Just put this in a thing. We're going to get our app ID. We need some settings. Because it's functions, we have to do the weird colon stuff. We can't do it the other way. So Azure AD client ID. We can't use like big objects in here. We can in an isolated function, but we can't here. Client secret, which we're going to put in. I'm going to put in secret store so that nobody sees it here. Azure AD scopes, and this will be calendars.read.shared.
I mean, they're already hard coded in there, but we can change them later, right? Let's run the code first.
Yeah, we're going to need to change them later. So. And then tenant ID is Microsoft.com. Okay. And then let me go get it. All right. So for the client secret, I'm just going to switch to our faces for a moment, so I can do our client secret without exposing myself
in all their glory.
Yeah, I've got a face for radio. So let me create
and a voice for TV. Is that it?
That's right. A voice for silent movies. Just hold up cards, you know. Let's see. Dev key Okay, recommended. Got that. So I got my secret. And let's go .NET user secrets. Add this thing here.
In case you're wondering, it's always Hunter2 for JP and Banana for me. So we keep it consistent, you know.
Banana.
Banana. But uppercase A. I'm not gonna tell you which one is the uppercase, so you have to guess.
Potato.
No, I'll make it
right?
too easy for you, right?
Yeah, can't be too easy. Okay, so let me clear my terminal, and now we should be able to come back. Okay. So our client secret, I'll just put in user secrets. Cool, that's there. The one other thing we need to do to our app is we need to give it our redirect URLs that we allow. So the redirect URL we allow is a web redirect, and it's going to be HTTP localhost 7071, which is the local functions thing. And then I believe, if we look back,
Authorize, graph authorize, if I remember correctly.
I think it was graph authorize.
Yeah.
Graph auth callback.
Ah, the callback, yes.
Yep. And then
The
I
authorize is
believe,
to go there.
and in our host, we have no root prefix, so we have no API in our host. So
Very nice.
put that in here. Graph auth callbacks, that should all be good. We don't need any implicit stuff, so we can skip implicit. We'll configure that.
Hybrid.
Hybrid. I can't. It drives me absolutely bananas when I hear that.
Do you want to trigger JP? Just say hybrid.
Hybrid flow. Hybrid flow is not implicit flow. That's what somebody told me. I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, that's just,
Just because you repeat it in your mind does not make it true, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would be 180 pounds and 6'4". Okay, so let's
How's your
run this
workout going? Did you go this morning?
again. Christos. No, I didn't go this morning. I'm lucky if I get up out of bed.
I have the same challenge. What about hybrid anniversaries? Man, Phil Snubbles got it for you today.
He's killing
Are
me
you sure
today,
Phil Snubbles
man.
know your wife watching the stream or something? I'm just saying.
You know, could be. Anything's possible. So we gotta do some. So we need to add, or we need to do a configure, and I never ever ever remember how to do this. I think it's, was it iConfiguration or IMSA? So we got to configure our IMSAL options, but it's like, so we have our config. Oops. We end up with this config. And oh my god, stop auto-completing it. So we have the config object, and then we have our options object. And then, but this is never correct. Like, it's a little bit different from the other ones, and I never remember how to do it. It's like, actually, no, that doesn't happen here. That happens down here. So I'll just do, we'll call this x. And then it's x dot, I can never, ever, ever remember this. Help me, Christos. What is this?
What are you trying to do, man?
I'm trying to bind my config. But I never remember how to do it correctly in here.
It is... Oh, I was doing it the other day. So it will be... But do you have a hard-coded class?
Oh, never mind. I've got one right above me. I'm an idiot. Sorry. See,
But
this
you don't
is
have
diff-
the... oh, you have MSAL options? Do you have a class called MSAL options?
I do.
Oh,
this is,
okay.
This is different in .NET 5. Just FYI. So we're gonna have an iConfiguration coming in, and that's where we're at. This is what I couldn't remember. So we have our option, we have our config, and we just need to bind the two together. So in here we'll just do a config get section, and we'll get the Azure AD section, and then we will bind that to our options object. And now we should have our options object, so that's good. Our MSAL objects, or our MSAL options, are going to go into our client factory. Our client factory has dependencies on MSAL options. We got to configure our token cache. I haven't done that yet, and I think we should be good there. So we got.
And if you ever want to hear a story that almost brought me to tears with config settings, let me know. Always open to that. 2 hours, man. 2 hours of my life.
So we also need to add into our services, we need a a table token cache, or sorry, our token cache assessor, which fulfills the token cache assessor contract. And then this is going to expect a cloud table. So I need a cloud table. And our cloud table is, that's what we're going to need. That's essentially going to be our configuration for where we're going to store that. Now this is expecting a cloud table, which is a fairly odd way to do this. So I don't really want to create, I mean, we're going to be using a single table, but, well, what time is it? Okay, good, we still got a little bit of time.
15 minutes.
See, this is what I don't like about, this is the only thing I don't like about the dependency injection and functions, is I could get a cloud table and a function as a function binding, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And being able to like have those bindings be up a level, you know what I mean? Like at the
Before
the function app level instead of at the individual function level means I'd be able to use them and plug them in here. Because I mean, we're using a table here, but you could use whatever. You could use Cosmos, you could use blob storage, I don't care what you use. As long as you can store some bytes, it doesn't matter. So how am I going to get a cloud table here? Boy, this is going to feel really ugly here in just a minute. It's going to feel really bad.
Do we need it as part of the dependency injection because it's expected by the services?
Well, we need it for the other option is we don't inject any of these.
Injected. Yeah.
So
It might make our life a lot easier.
I'm just going to add a cloud table. Everybody shield your eyes because this is
You didn't see this. It didn't happen.
this is pretty ugly.
I will cut this out from the video. It works. We don't know how.
I just
but it works.
more than anything,
Yeah.
I just want to see this work up front first, and then we'll factor.
So you're instantiating a brand new table here.
Yeah. See, this is why I don't like this.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, we're doing it right now just to show that things are working. We can come back and fix it.
Yeah, which means I need a storage account, which the storage account is going to come out of settings.
So you need to bind your settings.
Christ's sake.
Why are you not using? Are you not using MSI? Oh no. Yeah, you could use MSI.
I can't use them. I can't use MSI because MSI is an app-only permission. That's the whole reason we have to do this silliness.
No, MSI to access storage though. Or do you need to sign in as yourself? So user.
Oh no. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we could use an MSI to access storage.
Yeah.
Can we use MSI against tables yet, though? I didn't think that was turned on.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You need to use a key or a SAS.
So we use our dev storage account, and of course I never remember how to do this either. So
There you go.
cloud table client. So we get our table client, it's a new cloud table client. And that
You need to give it a name, right?
now we get that off of our storage account. We have to create the storage account first. That gives us a cloud storage account. So storage account.create cloud table client. What do we want the name of our, we'll call this token cache, user token cache. So this gives us our table client.
It was technical debt.
So we'll get a get table reference. Oops.
Do you not need to do create if not exists?
We could do that here if well, but we need a reference first.
If is it not doing create if not exists will give you a table reference as well?
It will give us one, but we have to get the table reference first. So like if we were to do like if I just say table, we do a table client. This gets us our table reference,
And then you do table create or if not exists or something?
Yeah, create if not exists async. You could do that there, or there's actually a non-async option. You could do that one there, and then you just return the table. This is a pretty old API too, because this is one of the storage APIs. It's been around forever.
Yeah, it looks like it. Okay.
So
This is a crime against security.
okay. Anyway, I've got a to do now, so it's okay. So we've got our table client, which is such a circus. We've got our table client. So we have our table. Our table is needed by our token cache assessor, which is needed by our MSAL client factory. So chances that this runs the first time?
I will give you 65%.
Wow, your confidence is 64% higher than mine. So thank you.
I believe in you. I believe in you.
Okay. So are we running? Are we running? Are we
And
running?
you know what you should do? You should commit it to production and go on holiday, and then nobody can be.
That's
can
right.
Nobody can fix it for the next week.
It's the Friday before.
You know what we had to do back in the source control days. Back in the what was it? Source safe. Somebody would commit something and leave on holiday. We had to go in Active Directory, reset their account, get their password, sign in as themselves, and roll back the changes, or do the whatever commit was missing, and fix it. Those were the days.
Okay. So let's get to. So we're trying to go to. So we need to go to graph/authorize, right? We'll get our debug stuff up here. So let's try to go to localhost 7071/graph/authorize.
See, BSD says we believe in you. Why not?
I'm glad somebody does. Okay, so I've got an exception, as expected. Of course, it's object reference, so something in here is missing. Now, I don't have a certificate.
A certificate. Yeah, I told you. Why do you use a certificate?
Well, I'm not using a certificate here.
Exactly.
But I have certificate because I'd used this in a different project where I did have it. In fact, I seem to remember somebody was telling me about how the DI container, the default .NET DI container, goes to the most specific. Is it the most specific constructor?
Oh, so you need to be explicit on your constructor and provide it with the config settings. You can do that. In fact, I put a blog post about how to pass parameters to your constructor.
Okay, so our MSAL client factory. So we have two constructors. We have one constructor that it takes config. Here, we'll put some carriage returns here to make this a little easier to read. So I've got this one that takes a token cache assessor, right, which we need. And then I've got this one which takes a token cache assessor and a certificate and a logger factory. Now, I don't have a certificate in the DI container, so is it a matter of ordering?
Can we?
Surely that
could
can't
be.
be it.
No, I think it's the
Surely
most
no.
specific one.
So it's going to take the most specific one, even though the most specific one is not available?
Well, comment. I think the way that you can do it is by passing the parameters that you need into the constructor, so you can be explicit about which one you want to instantiate, or you can comment out the one with the certificate right now because we're not using it.
So I just create. Well, no, but I can't create a new one here, right? Because I don't have the other. I don't have the other things that are in the container yet.
That's a good point.
So, because I think I had this problem with Graph before. So, if it uses the most specific one, source safe. If it uses the most specific one, what do we do? How do we tell this thing which one to use?
Comment the one that has the certificate off.
Well,
Comment it out.
I mean, surely. I mean, you know what? You're right. Let's just do that to see if at least the rest of our.
Let's get it
logic
running,
is
and then we can come and fix it. There will be a ton of things that we have to come back and just do to do, so we can remember.
To do, fix this.
To do,
Uncomment
fix
this. Okay, back up and
Field. Okay, just never use. These are just warnings.
running. Okay. So there's our graph authorize call.
Sign in.
Connection refused. So, it hasn't fully started up yet, so that's okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Now it is.
Okay, so we're here. So let's try graph authorize and okay,
Oh,
cool.
rip.
This is good.
Dun,
So we
dun,
get our
dun.
transient identity. We're going to create it with a transient identity, and that blew up. Something's null, of course.
Is it
All right.
so
let's
it's in
run it
the
again.
MSOL factor, right?
Yep, it's somewhere in here, so I'm sure it has something to do with. See, there's our transient ID. That's good. Our use China is false. So we'll go in here. We got our identifier. My assumption is that something here is. Oh no, it didn't like that. Oh, it didn't like my create. All right, that's cool. Let's go into our create, and we'll put this here. Run this again. F5. So this gives us. Oh, you know what? I bet my. I don't have my. My properties in my configuration don't match. They don't match the. Oh, where did he go? The properties in my configuration, it looks like they don't match because my config object is null. So that would certainly be why. I don't know where he went. We've only got a couple minutes before we go over to see our Dallas, who's doing some more stuff. Vacational formulation. Commit before vacation, and if it's important, the bugs are fixed when you come back. That's a good idea. That is a good idea. Fuel. Okay. Ooh, red shorts. Fancy.
I'm back.
Red shorts. Fancy.
Yeah, man.
My
Nikes.
setting is my setting objects are null, so
Oh,
I may not
something-
have the correct
config binding.
I may not have the correct property names. Instance client. Yeah, I don't think I have the right ones. Let's put this out to the right. Let's get our settings back up. So yeah. So we need Azure AD, and that's instance. Login. .microsoftonline.com. And then we've got client ID, client secret. We don't really have a redirect URL. I guess we do have a redirect URL, so we'll use that. So it's redirect.
We do.
Redirect URI. And then that's, right now, it's HTTP localhost 7071 graph / authorize. And then we've got
Callback. It's callback. In the redirect URI, have a callback.
Oh, right. Yeah, good call. So that's graph auth callback. Okay. And then we've got our client. So we've got our tenant ID. We don't even have the scopes anywhere, but we're not using those yet. So we've got instance, client ID, client secret, redirect URI, and tenant ID. So we've got that. Of course, we don't. We're not
Will
using
the certificate blow up if you don't have it in there?
I don't think so, because the options binding is opportunistic, right?
Yes, it will try to map to whatever it is there. Yeah.
So we're going to get section and bind. Yep, that all looks okay. So we're binding that. So we're adding our options, msal options. Am I adding them at the wrong time? No, so they should be there. So we should be there. We should be okay. Let's see. Let's run and see.
I mean, there's quite a few things that we need to fix here. A lot of hard-coded magic strings in the code. We can pass them into the config, switch from dev to prod, and change from local emulator to proper storage account. So quite a few things there. They will all be fixed by the time you come back from your holiday.
Okay, let's see what we get. Oops. Do we have a proper config object? And let's see. We don't. Our config object is completely empty, and I
Dead.
don't know why. I don't know why.
We're not binding it properly. Did you say that .NET 3.5, 3.1 is different to .NET 5 for binding?
Yeah, there's something a little bit different between the two, but this is 3.1. Although now I'm wondering, did I have a special? I must have had something special in here. Anyway, it's 1 o'clock. We gotta go. We gotta go raid Ardalis. Is he up yet?
Ardalis, yes. Let me see. I haven't checked yet because I was so focused on this stream.
Looks like he is not up yet. So we'll plug away for another
Stall.
minute or two until he gets here.
Yep.
It's always, it's what it always ends up being. There's always some kind of specific config that is not correct. And I think I know why.
You do know why, or you don't know why?
I do know why.
Why?
Because I don't have the right config format in here.
Does need to be different. Oh, you can actually. You don't have to do the. Yeah, Azure AD. Just create an object and then add the properties there. Right.
No, I've got the Ardalis. Is he up? Any Ardalis yet? No Ardalis yet. Okay.
No, she's not up yet.
So there's something in there about commercial, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is why did I have them separate? Oh, I had named options. That's why. Named options.
I see.
So which is fine. I just need to name my options. While we're waiting on our friend Steve, I suppose we'll just name my options. Actually, I should probably just get away from named options. It'd probably be better. But this was for multi. It was for if you wanted to have multiple configurations and use multiple configurations at the same time.
Right.
This config get commercial in here because I had config here. I also had China config, but we can easily figure out a better way to do this. So our config, and that's the other thing. How do we do named options in the function startup? Can we do the named options here in the add options? I don't think we can.
I haven't done named options before.
Well, let's run it and see what we get.
Yep.
Ardalis. Still no Ardalis. Well, we'll give him a minute or two. Otherwise, somebody's going to come in here and kick us out.
That's true.
Like, all right, you guys have had enough. We've had enough. Okay. Get my browser back. Graph authorize. Function's almost up and running. Do we have some configuration yet? Nope, still not up and running. Still waiting on the function to finish booting. There we go. It's getting close anyway.
It's taking enough time, right?
It's finally cranking away, it seems. Okay, graph authorize. Can we hit it? We did. We hit it. Cool. Do we have configuration? We do. Good. So now that we've got our config, we've got our configuration. So we'll run here. Can we create? Are we going to create an MSAL? That's really what it comes down to, right? Create for an identifier. We've got an identifier. Good. We're
Cool.
create. We've got some config. We've got a client ID. We've got a redirect URI. We've got an instance. That all looks good. Tenant ID is there. We know we've got a secret. We don't have a certificate. That's fine. So that's all good. Well, we got a system argument exception, so it didn't like something. Authority URI should have at least one segment in the path. Oh my god. It's always.
Oh, did you forget to add the...
Oh, we got our instance. Just do on Microsoft.com at the end. the authority value is different for, it seems like, in every single build. Sometimes you need your tenant ID, sometimes you need common, sometimes, depending on what you're doing. Sometimes you don't need one because the code underneath goes and binds one together. So. All right. Ardalis, is he up yet?
No.
Still not. Well, we might just have to skate on out of here, but we'll run it one more time. We'll let it run one more time and see if
One
we
more
can keep
time,
going.
and then we can raid somebody else. Ed Suburno is up. The Visual Studio stream is up. We can go there.
Okay.
Our friend Rockstar is live again today. We might want to go there.
Who's on Visual Studio today?
I think it. Oh, Ardalis, I think is just up.
Oh, good. Okay. So let's
Speak
see.
of the devil.
So we'll create our identifier.
Yeah, he's up.
Okay. So we have a client ID. We have a redirect. We have an instance.
Cool.
Okay. So we created it. We haven't built it yet, though. We've only created it. We're going to give it a tenant ID. We're going to give it a client secret.
Oh, there you go. Build. Done.
So it built. Cool. So we're going to configure our token cache. We're going to add our token cache. That all worked. So we've gotten our MSAL object. Now we're going to get a redirect URI. And there we are redirected.
Snap.
So when we
That's
sign
the first
in,
time we're using it,
please.
so it will be consent. Oh.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
That's okay. I will chase this down after the show, but we will get admin approval for this one because I'm sick of this. So
JP knows some admins. If you need admins, speak to
anyway,
JP.
all right, we're gonna go over and see what our Dallas is doing. Hey, everybody, have a fantastic weekend.
Yes.
Christos will
Thanks,
be back
everyone,
next
for
week.
joining us.
He's got
yeah.
some fun guests coming too, as I understand.
I do. On Tuesday, we're actually going to be talking about mental health and, how you can stay productive in all this, amidst all this panic and the pandemic. So
How much do I negatively impact your mental health?
that'll be on the 360 review that we do.
Okay, so let's go see our Dallas. We'll be back on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and I'm
Stay safe.
gonna go on vacation.
Enjoy your holiday if you're doing anything. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, let's go see what our good friend is doing. Looks like we're ready to go. Thanks for hanging out with us. Come join us on Discord, and have a great weekend. Later on, everybody.
Bye.